She had one rule every single morning: show up. Aurelia Choc Cac had no car, no fancy commute, no backup plan. Every morning she walked to her neighbor's house so they could drive her to work together. It wasn't just a routine, it was a lifeline, and her neighbors knew it. So when Aurelia didn't knock on that door, they knew something was wrong. Not late, not sick, not a miscommunication. They called the police. And when officers stepped inside Aurelia's home in Theodore, Alabama, what they found told them immediately that this was not a missing persons case. This was something far darker. And somewhere out there, a 40-year-old mother and her two children, a 17-year-old girl, Niurka Zuleta Choc, and a 2-year-old baby boy, Anthony Garcia Choc, were already gone. Consider subscribing to help us grow. It means a lot to us. Thank you. What officers found when they entered that Theodore home stopped them cold. The place told a story nobody wanted to read. There were signs of a struggle, furniture displaced, the kind of disorder that doesn't happen by accident. That happens when someone fights back. And then there was the blood. I need you to stay with me here because this detail matters. The blood found inside that home belonged to Niurka, the 17-year-old. Investigators found it in multiple locations throughout the house. On a couch, on white shoes left in the living room, on a bed, on the master bedroom floor, even on a trash bag. Niurka had been hurt inside her own home. And then all three of them, Aurelia, Niurka, and baby Anthony, had vanished completely. No car, no phone contact, no witnesses coming forward immediately. Just a home that looked like a struggle had torn through it, and three people who were nowhere to be found. Mobile County Sheriff's Office launched an immediate investigation. This was not a slow-burn cold case that would take years to surface. Every hour mattered. With a 2-year-old child missing, investigators moved fast. And almost immediately, a name came up. Hector Gamaliel Argueta Guerra, 27 years old. I need you to remember that name. Investigators identified Argueta Guerra as the prime suspect in the family's disappearance. And when they started pulling on that thread, what unraveled was deeply alarming. Argueta Guerra had a lengthy criminal history, but more than that, he had active warrants in El Salvador for alleged gang activity. Authorities confirmed he was a member of the Sureños gang. This was not a random act. This had a face. This had a name. And now law enforcement had both. A kidnapping charge was filed. The search intensified. But Aurelia, Niurka, and little Anthony were still missing. And every hour of silence was heavier than the last. On the afternoon of Wednesday, March 11th, 2025, investigators made a discovery in Summerdale, Baldwin County. Summerdale is approximately 50 miles west of Theodore, 50 miles from where Aurelia didn't knock on her neighbor's door, 50 miles from where Niurka's blood was found on a couch. 50 miles. Authorities found remains at the location suspected to be Aurelia Choc Cac and her two children. And here is the detail that hit investigators like a weight they couldn't put down. At the discovery site, they found jewelry. Jewelry bearing the photographs of Aurelia and little Anthony. Items that only someone who knew this family, who had been inside their lives, would have had access to. It wasn't just evidence, it was the cruelest kind of confirmation. Formal identification is still being processed at the time this video is being made, but Mobile County law enforcement has publicly confirmed the discovery and its connection to this family. Hector Gamaliel Argueta Guerra is in custody, and the state of Alabama is not treating this quietly. Mobile County District Attorney Keith Blackwood has announced he will be upgrading the charges to capital murder. Sheriff Birch spoke publicly about the suspect without hesitation, calling him, in his own words, an evil person who will face his judgment soon. The district attorney has declared the state will seek the death penalty for a 40-year-old mother, for a 17-year-old girl, for a 2-year-old baby boy. 3 people who deserved every tomorrow they were never given. Here is what I keep coming back to. Aurelia had no car. She relied on community, on a neighbor who cared enough to notice, on a routine that kept her tethered to the people around her. That same routine, the one that might have felt like a limitation, is the very thing that made her disappearance impossible to ignore. Her neighbor noticed in hours, not days, not weeks, not 22 years, hours. And I think about what that means. How many people in this world have nobody watching for them? Nobody who would notice by morning. Nobody who would make that call. Aurelia had that, and it still wasn't enough to save her. This case is still developing. When new confirmed details emerge, when this case moves through the courts and justice is served, we will be back with the full story. Every detail, from beginning to end. Because Aurelia Choc Cac, Niurka Zuleta Choc, and Anthony Garcia Choc deserve to have their story told completely and told right. If this case stayed with you, leave a candle below for this family. Subscribe, because we don't look away, and we don't stop until the full truth comes out. I'll see you for the next one.